25 years ago, Bethel Lutheran Church on the west side of Chicago decided to do something about affordable housing. The congregation voted to start a housing ministry, and Bethel New Life was born.
25 years ago is when Bethel Lutheran Church took a chance and went out on faith and felt that they could, with God's help, initiate something new, something different, and something that would help the community.
And the role we've taken is that the issue of how to address the poverty, how do you address the homelessness, how do you address the pride, how do you address it almost from a holistic standpoint? Because it's not just about getting someone a job, it's not just about putting someone in an apartment, it's more about how do you change their whole life.
Today, Bethel New Life provides housing for the elderly, the homeless, supportive transitional housing for families, multifamily and single-family homes, and numerous other services.
When we started, we had a budget of $9,600 and 2 of us employees, and this commitment to affordable housing. And our first purchase was a 3-flat, abandoned 3-flat from the HUD selling list, which we bought for $275. So you can imagine a $9,600 a year budget. And then moving on to today, our budget's about $12 million, operating budget's about $12 million a year. And we've been able to bring in over $110 million of new investment dollars into this West Side Chicago community.
The mission statement itself is from Isaiah 58, 9 through 12, and it really sets the framework for us doing what we do. It talks about restoring community. It talks about building community not only physically but from a people perspective.
I think Bethel is effective because it knows how to build on the assets in the community and how to create momentum. And I think what happens is, when you start with that first building that they did mainly with sweat equity, that they had almost no money to buy, and somebody looks at that and says, oh, that can be done. Other people in the church begin to get hopeful, and you begin to do a second and a third, and they've just been able to keep the momentum going over 25 years. And I think that's the secret. They've stuck in there, and they've built momentum, and once people see things happening, they begin to see more things are possible to happen.
25 years ago, Bethel New Life began to address the numerous needs of this West Side community, from daycare to education to employment. The primary focus has been in housing, from housing for homeless families to first-time home buyers. Linda Dortch and her son were homeless after she was released from prison and sought shelter in Bethel's family supportive transitional housing.
What we try to do is to, even if you're homeless, you're a family member and you would like to maintain that family with you.
If it had not been for Bethel, this thought kind of is a scary thought. It kind of scares me because I don't know. But I know I wouldn't be where I'm at if it's not for Bethel allowing me to keep my son with me and to grow as I have grown. I wouldn't have him.
Beth Ann Residences is an old hospital that Bethel New Life converted into independent living on one side and affordable assisted living on the other. Those who live here have decent, clean, affordable living accommodations, and should they need assistance in housekeeping or medication dispensing, they can access that here at Beth Ann.
It ain't nothing like someone that can't do something for themselves and have someone to come in and do something for them.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
The thing that we're most proud of is the fact that it allows our seniors to live as independently as possible with autonomy, choice, privacy, and dignity as our main emphasis.
I'm a very independent person. I don't like to ask people to do things for me, so I felt like if I was in a facility where that they had supportive living or assisted living or whatever, then it would be the thing that I needed. And so I came over, took a look at it, liked it, and here I am.
Beth Ann has a dining service, providing home-cooked meals 7 days a week. And there are also recreational activities provided, not only to residents, but as part of the adult daycare service, which is open to seniors who still live at home but need to get out and socialize with their peers.
It's nice. You don't have to be here. You don't have to be at home
by yourself or watching TV all day, you can come here and do something. You can find something to do.
What's your name?
Gage.
Gagey? Or Lucille Lamb?
There are also intergenerational activities where the children from Bethel Daycare come to Bethel Adult Daycare and participate in joint activities. Kevin Copeland is the director of Bethel Lutheran's music ministry and grew up in the church and at Bethel New Life.
I am a Bethel child. I've been around Bethel for a very long time. I grew up at Bethel. I went to daycare at Bethel, and I graduated from Bethel school in the 8th grade.
After high school, Kevin attended Northeastern and continued to worship at Bethel and was a member of the choir. He got his first job at Bethel in data entry. Today, he is a computer specialist for a major Chicago bank.
I got to come to Bethel Church and hang out with my friends and find the Lord Jesus here. This is where I accepted the Lord into my life at Bethel Lutheran Church. And under the leadership of David Nelson, he really was a mentor to us and taught us that we didn't have to run the streets and we didn't have to succumb to peer pressure and some of the things that some of our young adults and teenagers face today. So this was definitely an outlet for us. It was something that I could do to get away from getting in trouble, basically. And so I think that if it had not been for Bethel New Life, I probably would have been out selling drugs or homeless or unemployed or just without hope. And Bethel has provided hope.
Earl Williams took part in a job readiness program provided by Bethel after being released from prison.
I refer to it as Bethel New Life because it's indeed given me a new life.
The first thing we do is just meet them. That's my favorite thing, meet them right where they are. You bring what you have. We use an asset-based approach. I don't say because you've been here that that's no good. We don't do that. We look at it and see where it can fit into the larger scheme of things.
Bethel has the unique ability to look at something that's impossible and believe that can happen. Other people would call it a miracle, but Bethel doesn't accept something can't be done. And what I think they're very good at is understanding how these pieces fit together for the community. They involve the community and then use their activist nature to approach the appropriate people.
When you can educate little children and they grow up and become physicians, doctors, and nurses, when they can go to college and do things that they never thought in their wildest dreams that they'd be able to do. I mean, that is indeed 25 years of serious action. And that's what Bethel New Life has done. It has brought new life, especially to the Garfield community.
Bethel has been working in partnership with Flower High School before it was closed in 2003. We partnered with a team of teachers who were developing a school called Al-Rabi. Al-Rabi is a dream that was deferred but is now in action. And that action is that we are going to be teaching young people for the next 4 years to be the next group of community organizers and connect that also with the environment in which we live in.
The Al-Rabi School also partners with the Garfield Park Conservatory, which is directly across the street and which had become a neglected site in this West Side community.
Helping to organize other groups to care about it and to bring new resources to it. And so that now 750,000 or 900,000 people come. It's a destination place, and that changes how people look at our community.
The conservatory is also the site of Bethel's annual Gumbo Gala, which is an event to just say thank you to the community for their support. At the Bethel Cultural Arts Center, there's a permanent exhibit called Steppin' Up, which recognizes the activism and work of community residents as well as others from Chicago to inform the community and young people in particular about the contributions that have been made and about the legacy and the shoes that they have to be concerned about filling. Bethel then decided to put some of the stories on stage and used veteran actors as well as community members to celebrate these contributions.
On stage, we had 62 people. They had never been on stage before, and they literally came together to make this production, to put on these stories of what we were featuring in the exhibit. And then to have Miss Cleodia O'Quinn, who actually is part of the exhibit, and she lives in the Beth Ann Place senior housing. She came down and she said, I want to be in the play. And she told her story. And that is what the community cultural arts it's supposed to do.
The latest venture of Bethel New Life is the smart, green, transit-oriented building at the corner of Lake and Pulaski. It's a train stop of the Green Line that was scheduled to be closed. Bethel again took the lead and gathered enough support and momentum from others in the community that their protests turned a possible closing into a $350 million investment in this community.
They had closed that transportation line, and Bethel also stood up with other community residents and organizations to say, no, you won't close our line, you will rehab our line. It will be used to generate new development around our community. It will be used to transport our residents to and from the city.
The Smart Green building will house an employment resource center, which is easily accessible from the train. It will also provide computer technology skills to community residents, a daycare center, and have retail shops on the ground floor level.
We're not done yet. We still have work to do. And we're going to remain steadfast.
It's provided a beacon, I think, for the community. And I think the New Life, New Futures is a continuum of that.
In the next 25 years, Bethel is going to continue to be faithful to its basic mission, and that is to make a community which is hospitable to everybody in it, which takes everybody in it as God's child in the language that they're comfortable with at Bethel, and which in fact is a place that is committed to making justice happen.
Through it all, God leads us to get it done. And I do know He is the center of my world, and I like working in an organization that has Him as a center and a mission as well.
Instead of seeing people as poor or without skills or needy people, we see that they each have gifts and talents and possibilities, and you build on those things just like we built on a transit stop as a major anchor for community revitalization. So you build on the strengths, the capacities, and the opportunities.
If you will let your light shine so that men can see your good works, God will be glorified by them in heaven. We have all seen the good works of Bethel New Life.